up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review the final episode or the season finale episode of this season of Love After Lockup. This is season 5, episode 40. Again, I hope that everybody that has experienced the hurricane or the storms or tropical storms currently are okay. I saw that in North Carolina and in Tennessee, unfortunately, there was a dam that broke, so they've had serious and severe flooding, as well as I've been on TikTok and Twitter and even Instagram, and I've been seeing people who've been documenting their experience being in the hurricane in Georgia and in Florida. So I hope people that could evacuate were able to, and those who weren't able to evacuate, I do hope that everybody was safe. But let's get into this. So let's talk about this episode. I'm gonna be honest, this episode was not needed. Like, this was a very lackluster season finale, and I always feel like when it comes to your premiere episode or the season finale of a episode, it should be oh my gosh, it should leave you wanting more. And that's not what I got from this. I was like, this is real. I don't like it. This is very meh, And the couples that they said we're supposed to see on Life After Lockup, I was like, okay, I'm not impressed. I just was like, y'all could have came better than this, but okay. So let's start off with the scammer of the century, Miss Latisha and Keith, because Latisha knew for a fact that Keith was not getting out until this September. She knew she needed this money because she is facing some legal issues and legal troubles. But girl, you played. I mean, I got to give you credit because you got on the season, but you very much played in everybody's face. So we don't even get scenes with Latisha. All we get is the wrap up scenes that we have at the end where they tell everybody where they are now. So with Latisha, they show us pictures of U-Haul boxes, and we find out that her and her girls still live in Iowa. I don't know why I said Indiana last episode because I thought they lived in Chicago area, but I guess not. But they still live in Indiana, and they just moved to a different part of Indiana into a new rental, which I think is good, especially for her oldest daughter, so she can still be around her father, which Latisha says she has a really close relationship with. Because I feel like Keith being out, that girl is going to need to have a safe space, which is going to be with her daddy when she don't want to be around that man. Because I really feel like that girl is just over her mom and over this situation entirely. We also find out that Latisha got arrested for some bank issues. Now, I told y'all in one of my spicy corners, Latisha got in trouble for, I think, bankruptcy fraud. And then she's also looking at another charge. But Keith actually did get out of jail. So she posted this on Wednesday. Well, no, Keith posted this on Wednesday, and I saw this on OMFG reality TV. And Keith's Instagram name is Big_G Swole. You know he been locked up for a while, cause what? And he said first day out, it's time for new beginnings. So he got out I guess on September, I guess the 25th or 24th. So yeah, Keith is officially out of jail. Latisha also posted on her Instagram. She has her name on Instagram is Heart of the Boss. She says, I don't gotta be a big girl no more. Daddy is home. I love you, baby. Congratulations. See, women who act like that, like their men are supposed to be like their fathers, is weird. That's weird. That's weird. Granted, I understand you want somebody to give you the princess treatment, but that's weird. And I don't get how she's expecting him to take care of everything when he's been locked up for 13 or 11 years. Do you really think he about to be employed like that? He ain't got no employable skill. Well, I won't say that because maybe he picked up a trade. I'm hoping he picked up a trade while he was in prison. But I'm just kind of girl, what are you expecting from him? But when it comes to Latisha and her situation, and I'm getting this off of Starcasm, they said this. They said in April 2023, 2024, Latisha is arrested for felony theft. The theft charges stem from allegations that Latisha offered tax services via boss tax and accounting services to a client and accepted payment for the taxes that the client owed, but then kept the money and never paid off the tax bills. The criminal case is still open and moving forward. I don't know why y'all ever let that lady touch your taxes. She don't even give that she know how to do taxes. But that was Latisha and Keith. Maybe we'll see them again, but I don't think so, because while I was scrolling on her Instagram, she didn't really have anything positive to say about Love After Lockup. So, yeah. Latisha and Keith. Talk about Hope and Arthur. So they're still at the Mexican restaurant with Hope's sisters and her grandparents. Hope ends up thanking everybody for coming out, and she's real appreciative that her family seems to somewhat like Arthur a little bit. So as they're getting up to leave, we see the three sisters at the bar taking shots, and then we see the grandfather pull Arthur aside and be like, yo, he was like, you wasn't in no gangs, were you, while you were in prison? And Arthur's like, no, sir, I wasn't. So Arthur says in his confessional, he took the high road with Hope's family because they don't even know me. But he was like, I'm going to just have to prove them wrong. And I don't get everybody's vibe when it comes to Hope and Arthur, because I get it. Hope is public enemy number one for a lot of people. People don't like Hope, and everyone's team Arthur. But I feel like in this moment, this was like a real moment. Like if someone pulled up to my house with Arthur, as handsome as Arthur is, you tell me you've been to jail for theft. You've been in there for 6 years. My sister is paying for everything, and you had a mental breakdown. I would have questions too. And I think it's okay for her family to be like, so how long is it going to take you to get a job? Because I don't feel like my sister should be taking care of you for that long. As well as, are you really like taking care of your own mental health? I don't think that's like out of the norm. Like, did y'all want them to just sit there and be like, oh, okay, nice to meet you, Arthur? When they are like, I'd rather you be honest and upfront with me and tell me like if you like me or not, or if you have concerns. Don't like lie to me or make me feel some type of way. Like, be honest about how you feeling about me so I know how to move with you. So as they're leaving the restaurant, Arthur kind of tells Hope, like, I kind of feel like some type of way that you didn't defend me. And Hope is like, well, they grilled me before you got here, and they just wanted to know like if you was gonna be this macho man. And Arthur's like, I'm not a macho man. Like, I'm like, I want to be with you, but like I feel like you should have had my back more. And she was like, well, they want you to see if you are gonna be about like your word, like, and also figure out if you gonna go back to prison. And he was like, well, I ain't been back yet. And Hope is like, well, how long were you out last time? And he was like, 6 months. And she was like, well, yeah. Like, it's only been 3 months. So I think they're just asking you legitimate questions. So then they have a moment. They talk about how they love each other. They kiss on each other. They talk about how they want to be together forever. Okay. So their ending credits is we find out that Hope and Arthur broke up after filming ended. And then Arthur was arrested on May the 24th, 2024 and is awaiting trial. Now, the update that I saw on Starcasm was that Arthur was arrested on felony counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, possession of a firearm by a felon, and unlawful carry of a weapon with felon convictions. Arthur's mom has stated on social media that Arthur was attempting to leave Hope and she fired a gun. Hope allegedly told cops that it was Arthur who fired the gun, according to Vanyetta, which is Arthur's mom. Adding some credence to Vanyetta's accounts is the fact that Arthur still hasn't officially been charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Now, what's interesting to me about this is that even though I know that Arthur is out now, I saw like I think it's like according to Amber that he's out. People have been saying that, like, rumors online is that Arthur has been trying to contact Hope, but in his, like, I'm out and I'm free, he was like, no more Hope. So it's giving toxic situation, but hopefully they don't talk to each other anymore, because to be all honest, they never should have been together, because really Hope and Arthur are just two broken people that try to find love in a hopeless place. Because Arthur being incarcerated, knowing that he's institutionalized, on top of the fact the things that he saw while he was in prison, he should have been at like a like inpatient like treatment center with like constant therapy, because I don't think he should have went to Las Vegas with his mom, because you can tell that he still hasn't unpacked the childhood issues or trauma that he has dealing with his mom, as well as he shouldn't have been with Hope, who like they both thought they was gonna get out and life was just gonna be sweet. And after that moment he had where he had the mental break, he should have known like, yeah, I don't need to be with you. I probably need to figure out where I need to parole to, where I can go to therapy, and maybe we need to date again. And Hope should have known once he had that moment that she shouldn't have been with him, because you could tell that she was scared. And it was like, yeah, girl, it's not gonna be the way you thought it was going to be. She also needs to deal with the pain and hurt that she felt being, unfortunately assaulted as a child. So it's like they both were two people that needed to not be together, and both need to be, I hope, in therapy working out their issues. Okay. So let's talk about Bianca and Daniel. So we open up, the episode actually opens up with them where they are standing out. Bianca and Daniel's family are standing outside of the prison waiting for him to get out. And everybody's anxious because the time that he was supposed to get out, he didn't get out. So like they're like, oh my gosh, there's something wrong. But then they eventually see him. Everyone's ecstatic. They're happy. Bianca and Daniel have this awkward like making out, kissing moment in front of the family, and everyone's like, okay. And I'm like, okay, kissing each other is one thing, but like y'all doing tongue, nasty. Don't do that in front of your mama and daddy. That's weird. And so, the cousins are happy to see him. They're actually like surprised by the way that he looks, because the last time they saw him, he wasn't as like clean or as skinny. So they're happy to see him. The mom and dad are emotional because they haven't been able to hug or touch on him in the past 5 years. So they're just happy to just wrap their arms around him. They end up taking a family picture. He's surprised by the iPhone because, he's been locked up for 5 years. So he's just kind of like, yo, I ain't seen a phone like that in years. So he's just happy. He's talking about how he not going back to prison. Bianca notices that he has like glitter in his hair. He said that it's confetti. I said, I don't think they throwing confetti for you, sir, why you in prison. But his thing is like, when you become a family in there, or like people respect you in there, they are happy to see you go. So he's like, it's confetti, but she said it was glitter. And I'm like, so they threw glitter at you or they threw confetti? Because confetti and glitter are two different things. What was you doing in there, Daniel? And so we end up getting a little backstory about Daniel. He officially has a confessional. We find out that the reason why his DUI charge came with such a harsh conviction of 5 years is because Daniel was on probation for burglary charges where he was breaking into like parked cars and stuff. So he violated probation, which in turn gave him such a harsh sentence. He's like, I'm not going back. I am not going back to jail. I want to be free, and everyone's like, oh, we hope you mean that. We find out that the reason why Daniel went down this path of like addiction is because of his father, his biological father, not his stepfather that we see hugging all over him. Is his biological father was drinking and all of that stuff, and was just he soaked it up like a sponge. Daniel started to mimic the same behaviors of his father. So Daniel and the family end up like, everybody piles in the cars. You see Daniel's family in one car where the cousin is driving, Robert, and then Bianca's car has Daniel and her in the car. They all over each other in the car. The mom is in Robert's car being like, I wonder what they're going to do tonight. And the cousin is like, what you think? And the daddy is like, what do you think, girl? He been locked up for 5 years. What you think gonna happen? And she's like, well, I hope not. That's kind of, and I'm like, girl, your son's already in the car with his, I guess, fiance, trying to like lick, like sop her up like a biscuit. Then he gonna say he ready to paint her walls. When he said that, and like, I was like, why would you say that? And Bianca's like, are you sure? Like, don't put your hands down there. It's sweaty. Girl. And, as they're driving to the restaurant, because the family wants to go eat with Daniel, she's like, so when we get married? And Daniel's like, What you mean? So we find out when Bianca and Daniel started talking, when they were pen pals back and forth. I guess he said 25 or 24 days into them talking, he got put into solitary confinement. And so he was afraid of losing her. He decided to propose to her, but he not ready to marry her. Bianca's like, I don't want to be, engaged for like 2 years. Like, you should be ready to marry me and have kids in a year. And I'm like, you don't know this man. You don't know, why are you trying to do all of this? Like, what is Bianca like running from? Because she gave us that whole sob story about like, her ex, and then unfortunately she had a miscarriage. But it's like, where is your family? Like, where's your mom? Where's your dad? Where's your aunts and your cousins and your uncles? And like, because all we've seen of Bianca is her friends who were giving great advice, sound advice to her, and she's not listening to it. So I'm like, where's your family? Did they not want to be associated with this? Like, what is going on, Bianca? Because for you to be 23 years old and being like, by the time I hit 24, I want us to be married and having kids, that's a lot. Especially with a man who recently just got out of prison, who's 31 years old, and he's a recovering addict. Like, what is going on, Bianca? So we find out that he might not have to parole to the halfway house. We see him call his PO. Bianca's still irritated that the family's around because she is like, she wants to do foreplay. She ready to go back to the house and do what it do. And the family wants to eat with their loved one. Bianca, you're a guest. They don't know you. Daniel doesn't even know you like that. That is their cousin, their son. Like, girl, get over yourself. So they call the PO. The police officer basically said, pretty much like, come to the place tomorrow and I'll see what I can do and see if you can get approved to go stay with your fiance. So while they're sitting down at the table, the mom pretty much tells them like her grievances while they're at the restaurant. She's like, it's not that I don't trust you, but I can't lose another child. And they bring up, his brother that unfortunately passed from an overdose. And Daniel's like, no, mom, I love you. Like, it's going to be okay. Bianca's not doing anything to like help subside the mom's like worry, because she's like, I am 23. Like, I might, have mimosas, go out with friends, because the mom is like, are y'all gonna surround yourself with sober people, which you should. And Bianca's like, well, I'm gonna make friends. Like, we might go to a mimosa, I might come back home drunk, there's like, that's just life, that's because I'm not giving up drinking. And so Daniel is like, well, that's always going to be a battle for me, mom. Like, whether or not she come home drunk or not, I mean, if I see wine, if I see alcohol, it's always going to send me back. I just have to fight through it. So Daniel's just like, I think me and Bianca Bianca says, I think we're strong enough to like weather this storm. I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. So the mom starts crying at the table. She's just like, I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry. I'm worried. And I'm like, she's rightfully so to be worried. She already lost one child. She don't want to lose another. And then she sees that Bianca is not good for her child because she believes Bianca got a drinking problem, which I agree with you, mom. I agree with you. I do. But Daniel's 31 years old. He gonna do what he want. Let's just hope he don't end up back on the streets and drunk or doing drugs. So the ending scenes for Bianca and Daniel is that they're going to be on Life After Lockup. So check them out. And Troy. We finally get to see Yana. She thick. I don't get why she had on pink sweats and a white corset, but okay. Karen said, Yana had that on because, she wasn't coming here to fight. She was coming here to fight other things. I said, girl, what? In a white corset and pink sweats? Okay. We see little Troy. She is adorable. Okay. She looked just like Troy and Yana together. Troy embraces his daughter. We see him crying in the confessional about how, that one mistake took him away from his child for 7 years and he's never going back. And I really do believe that Troy regrets what he did and like he's actually going to be an active parent in his daughter's life. So I hope things are going well for them as it states today. What I didn't like is when we see Troy and little Troy embrace each other, there's this scene of Zeriah just sitting in a chair with her back towards them because she doesn't want to give Yana the satisfaction or like get a reaction out of Yana. And I was like, you doing that makes you look worse than her not acknowledging you, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, this is Troy's family and little Troy's family. And Yana has been here for 7 years. You just got into the picture. It would be better if you would have just gotten up and been like, hey, Yana, and introduced yourself to little Troy. and kept it pushing. But the fact that you sat there with your back turned says more about you than it does them not acknowledging you, in my opinion. So, um, we see Troy, like I said, crying in the confessional. We then get this really awkward scene of like Zeriah introducing herself to little Troy. Little Troy just looking up at her like, hello. And she's like, hi, I'm Zeriah. I'm your dad's wife. And she's like, oh, okay. She's like, it's nice to finally meet you. And the little girl's like, okay, bet. Like, then we get this really awkward scene of Yana, not Yana, of Troy introducing little Troy to Zeriah, and like, the aunt is sitting next to Zeriah, because you can tell that Zeriah is uncomfortable. She is really uncomfortable, but it's like, girl, this is not about you. This is about this little girl. Her little confessional was adorable, where little Troy is just like, I'm happy my daddy's home. I hope he never goes back to jail, and I'm ready to spend time with him. So, girl, this has nothing to do with you. Your insecurities doesn't matter. Like, they don't matter, Zeriah. So she's sitting there looking at Troy while Troy is explaining to little Troy that this is the only lady with the same last name as you and me. Like, this is, she's the one that got you the gifts. She's also going to be able to take you to get your nails done. Like, form your own relationship with her. Don't let your mother come in between you two. Like, you could call her Miss Z, or you could call her Mama Z. And I'm like, she's not going to do that. I hope she don't do that. And then Zaria's like, I'm just so happy to meet you. You look just like your father. Like, you're so beautiful. I'll never do anything to hurt you. And I'm just like, girl, this is awkward. This is so awkward. It's so awkward. And it was just like, I felt like this was an inappropriate conversation. Like, why were you trying to throw Yanni under the bus, Troy, about like, don't let your mother come in between? Like, you don't know her. You've only known Zeriah like in real time 5 days. They showed us on the screen that he's only been out for 5 days. And in those 5 days, your mama done tripped off of gummies. She has kicked you out the bed because your mom was talking about Yana. She freaked out on you, cussed you out and everything. Low-key, I think she put her hands on you. She threatened, like, kicked you out the house. Like, why would you think it would be okay for your daughter to have a relationship with her when you don't even know what you getting with Zeriah? Like, what? So we then get this scene of Karen and Yanni walking out to the front of the house, where Yanni is like, I told my daughter she don't have to be nice to her. She don't have to talk to her. She don't got to do nothing. Like, which, girl, your daughter still should have manners. Even if you don't like her, she should still have manners. But I did agree with, like, she don't got to hug that lady if she don't want to. So we see them like taking pictures, and Yanni was like, I don't got no, like, I don't know her like really like that, but I just like, I don't want, And Karen is just like, you stay on one side, she stay on another side. So Yanni does her own confessional where she pretty much says, I didn't acknowledge Zeriah because who is Zeriah? She should be happy that she's standing next to Troy. Yanni still got feelings for Troy. She still got feelings for Troy. But I do agree with her when she's like, if you're trying to get to know my daughter, then you need to get to know me. Like, point blank, period. And that's true. That's true. Like, I don't think any parent would just let their child go stay with someone and they don't know them like that, even if their dad is involved or not. Like, we're not going to act like people haven't harmed children because they don't like the ex-wife or the ex-husband. So it's understandable why she don't feel comfortable with that. So then we get this scene of Troy and Yanni having a conversation in front of the house. Zeriah doesn't come out because she don't want to be around Yanni. And so Troy is like, so what we gonna do? Like, how does this co-parenting thing? Mind you, Yanni is messy because she was like, give your baby mother a hug. And she hugs him. She's like, you broke my heart when, Zeriah was, not Zeriah, when little Troy was born. But I'm over that. I said, are you? Because I don't think you are. I don't think you are, ma'am. So they're standing outside the front of the house. He's like, okay, so what we doing with this co-parenting thing? Yanni says, school's about to be over. And he's like, all right, cool. She can come down to Syracuse for like a week or two. And Yanni is like, no, she's not. I don't know Zeriah. You don't know Zeriah. I know she's your wife, but that's a stranger. And I mean, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. She was like, you're not about to have my kid like there. She was like, the only reason why I'm letting my daughter stay over here today is because of your mama, your sister, and your family, because they know her and she knows them. But I'm not letting my child go with you to another state, which I don't fault her, because it's clear as day that Zeriah don't like Yanni. And I was just like, yeah, I don't know. And my thing about it is, just because Zeriah is okay with having Troy, who's never really had a relationship with her son, sign the birth certificate and play daddy, don't mean that Yanni wants you playing mama to her child. Okay? So Yanni leaves. We end up seeing them take this really cute family picture. You know, little girl was like, peace, like I do, like Zeus's. It was cute. And we get this scene of Zeriah having an attitude with Troy because she was just kind of like, so what she say? And Troy was like, she was just, trying to start some stuff. But no, I said, we gonna work it out. We gonna work it out. And Zeriah is just like, Troy always like yields to Yanni. Like he always complies with whatever she says. And I said, as he should, because that is that little girl's mother. And she's been the primary parent for 7 years while he's been locked up in prison. What do you expect, Zeriah? Just you being his wife means nothing when it comes to that child. That is her daughter and his daughter. Whatever that lady says goes. Ugh, she gets on my nerves. So the last part we see of them is that Zeriah and Troy are planning their wedding. They want to redo it with family and friends. And even with Karen being a part of it too. And then it says their story will continue on life after life. Let's talk about Julian and Christine. Now, Christine is a little nervous, she's about to do her stand-ups. She has some of her friends there and they're trying to tell her, girl, it's going to be fine. Just, you do you, girl. So she gets on stage. She's also disappointed because at this point, we don't know if Julian's going to be there and she feels some type of way. So she is just like, I hope he comes, but I'm kind of disappointed that he's not here. And so she gets on stage. She's explaining why they call her Chris 50. She explains how, I went to jail for stealing from banks. She found out how to steal banks off of a Reddit post from a guy who has, I guess, stolen from the most banks in America. And she says, you write down a letter and you got this guy in the audience who's heckling her like, that's stealing. That's not robbery. I was like, robbery and stealing are the same thing. But I guess robbery, he's meaning I guess he thought with a weapon or something. So as Christine is doing the beginning of her lineup, you then see Julian. Julian walks across the street. He actually comes into the restaurant and he's in the bar and Christine sees him and she's like, oh my gosh, he actually came. So she's happy that he's here. So at first you thought, okay, this is going to help her chill out. The person that she's in love with is here. He's here to support her. But no, girl, it got so bad. She started kind of bombing because the guy started heckling her and she just couldn't catch her rhythm. And she was like, she didn't know if she should banter back and forth with this man or if she should keep going. And then the jokes weren't really funny. And then it just got really awkward and the embarrassment, the secondhand embarrassment I felt for her, And then she started crying on stage. You got Julian looking at the man like, dude, and he was like, I really want to punch this dude in the face. All of her friends are they want to fight with him. And honestly, had it been me and my friends, he would have got cussed out so bad to the point where he probably would want to fight us or leave, because I was just like, I don't get the point of heckling. What's the point of spending your money to go to a comedy show to sit on the front row or to sit in the audience and just bother or pester the person in the audience? Because there's a 50-50 chance that they are going to joke on you so hard that you want to leave. I've seen those shows where people start heckling in the audience and the person that's a comedian who's really well versed in their craft, they roast them so bad that the people end up leaving or crying leaving. So I'm just like, I wouldn't want to be embarrassed, so why are you embarrassing them? So Christina gets so upset, she leaves. And Julian follows behind her. You hear her friends being like, I would like to see that guy get up on there. Another friend was like, yeah, I wanted to punch him in the face. So she goes into the bathroom. She's like, I'm having anxiety. I'm overwhelmed. And she sits on the toilet. I said, girl, you sat on that toilet in your clothes? And so she starts ripping off the mic and she's just like, I want to go home. That was just I can't. I just want to go home. So then her friend, I think the girl's name is Courtney, comes out and be like, Julian's doing the right thing by taking you home because you don't feel comfortable here anymore. It wasn't as bad. That guy was just a dick. And so Julian's trying to tell her it's okay. At least you had enough courage to get on stage. And Christine is like, I don't want to, she's like, I don't want to ever do that anymore. I just can't believe I just did that. And so she's embarrassed. She's freaking out. They take her home, and it's the next day. And when we see her the next day, I guess she's feeling a lot better in the sense of like she's able to process more about like what happened. And she was just like, she didn't know whether to like fight the man or like, you know, she was like, I wanted to prison up on him. Like I either wanted to fight him, like embarrass him, but then I got embarrassed and I couldn't take it. And she says like, you know, in prison, you're pretty much a nobody until somebody acknowledges you. But she says out here in the real world, everybody seems to notice you and it's kind of threatening. And the thing about it is, I think Christine thought because everybody tells her she's funny that she didn't have to like work on being funny. I think people forget that like comedians actually like practice their material. They like go to comedy shows and practice jokes. They really work on honing their craft. Like it's just not you getting up and being funny. And even people who are extremely funny, just like it's just a natural thing, they still work on their craft of like being funny, especially when it comes to like being a comedian and that being their sole like income. So Christine is like, it's the next day, they're outside on the lawn, and she's just like, I want to do it again, but I know I need to get better at it. And so she says how like ever since meeting Julian, she has more dreams. She was like, I never really thought about what dreams could be, but like I meet Julian and he just makes me feel like I can dream and do things that are like bigger than this world. And I said, oh, that's cute. That's nice. So then she's just like, you know, you proposing to me, because he got down on one knee and told her that he was like proud of her and was like, you got to just keep going. And he was like, you know, one day I will propose to you. I said, you need to meet his kids, his ex-wife, before you do that. So in their ending credits, we have Christine and her friend going to some like at the thrift store. She's talking about how, you know, she's going to do stand up again and give it a second chance. We actually see Christine meet Julian's dad on FaceTime, and Julian is still looking for a new job. So True and Shonta. So they on their way to Pepper's house that looks like a cabin out of like a 1980s slasher film. Okay. And so she's like, who is Pepper? And True's just like, oh, that's my sister-in-law, Kelly, aka Kel's friend. And Shantae's like, I just want to know it ain't no funny business. And True is like, it ain't no funny business because I got to pay rent. So we finally meet Miss Pepper. Miss Pepper look like she don't get into nobody's business. She mind her business and she keep to herself. They come into the house. Shantae is like, low-key, the inside and the outside is creepy. But I'm like, girl, the inside of your house was creepy. I ain't never seen no house with bricks in it. Like exposed bricks. Unless it was like an industrial apartment in the city. So she comes into the house. They sit down with Pepper. Shantae asks Miss Pepper, like, yo, so are you okay with like him staying here? And Pepper's like, yeah, I help my people out as long as like they don't cause too much drama or bring too much around me. And so she's like, yeah. And so True is like, yeah, no, cool. And then Shantae is like, are you okay with him having guests? And Miss Pepper is just like, I don't like females. I don't like all of that around my house. And I'm just like, well, Miss Pepper, then why'd you agree to have True, this chaos demon who just brings confusion and dishonesty in your house then, ma'am? Because that's all he do. But they then leave Miss Pepper and they decide to go walking around the apartment so that like Shantae can get a feel of like where he gonna be staying, which looks like a trap house. Okay, so they in the bathroom. We find out that True is allowed to leave the house from 8 to 12, and he's like, you know, I'm gonna be productive during that time. I'm gonna be going to get the baby stuff, buying me some weights. And then the producers are like, so what you gonna do for work? And True was like, you know, I got some side hustles, because now he can't go to the casino, which is supposed to be his primary income. Girl, I don't know. So I'm like, is you still in these streets? I said, don't get caught up. Don't get caught up. So they end up making out or kissing in the bathroom. Shantae's hoping that if True gets the opportunity to see her kids or their kids being born, that it will make him grow up. You know, he's like, yeah, he's prepared to be there for her and all of that stuff and blah, 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 blah. So it's the next day. Shantae pissed. She is pissed because she's on the phone with her friend, the one that has like the two-tone hair, who's been telling Shantae since day one that True is no good. And she's like, girl, True cheated on me. And her friend's like, what you mean? And I'm like, yeah, what do you mean? Because how can somebody cheat on you and you're in a situationship? The way situationships end is y'all just stop talking. It's not a breakup kind of thing. Y'all weren't girlfriend or boyfriend. So she's like, yeah, True cheated, cheated on. Shantae basically explains to her friend that while they were on the way back to the hotel, True, when they stopped at like a gas station, he went into the gas station. His phone was still connected to Bluetooth. He picked up the phone, I guess, while he was in the gas station, and Shantae heard this girl's voice, and True telling the girl, "Oh, I'm about to drop Shantae off, and then I'm gonna come link up with you. I'm gonna come get up with you." So when True got back into the car, Shantae was like, "Who was you on the phone with, True?" And True was just like, "Oh, it's nobody." And she kept pestering him until he admitted that it was some girl that he was talking to, probably the girl that he met up with when he was like, he sped up so he could like lose Shantae so he could talk to that girl. So Shantae is pissed. And I'm just like, I don't get how you're mad, because 4 days ago he told you that he was messing around on you while y'all weren't like really in communications with each other. And Shantae is in the car upset, telling her friend, like, in the past 2 years nobody could say that I like messed around on True, because I even was telling people that I was married. You're a dummy. That was your fault. Didn't nobody tell you to do that? Didn't nobody tell you to like link up with a convict and then expect them when they get out after being locked up for 13 years to be faithful? Where's your mind, Shantae? Where is it? So she pulls out, we see this one confessional scene where she crying on the side of the road because she's upset that she allowed that man back into her life. We see her on her way to True's, to Miss Pepper's house, because she's like, she need to drop off his clothes. Mind you, it's a Walmart bag full of clothes. And I'm like, girl, he's on house arrest. You could have just went back home. You didn't have to link up with him. I honestly don't think nothing was in that bag either, because the way she was swinging it, it looked like it had no weight to it. But I'm also like, even if there was something in that bag, why did you feel inclined to go give it to True? Girl, I would have been back in my city. He can't come get it. Let him go get it between the hours of 8 and 12 like he told you. So while she's on her way there, she ends up telling her friend that True basically told her that he expects her to wait around for him like she been doing. And her friend's like, oh, that's crazy. But the way her friend said, oh, that's crazy, was like, yeah, oh, that's crazy because it's true, because she know you because you're stupid. So she pulls up, she gives True his stuff. True come out. And this is where I lost respect for Shantae, because there is no way that this man is like mocking, like he's blatantly mocking you, and you arguing with him back and forth while you in the car. Girl, drive off. And like, he's like, you my baby mama, like you gonna have to be around, like I need you and you need me, like you can tell her all, you can tell your little friend all that stuff, because he can tell that Janae's on the phone, I think that's the girl's name, all this stuff. But like, you gonna be around, and don't be upset because I know you gonna call me crying talking about you want to be back together. Like, the way he mocked her, like, and she just sat there, like, there's no way I would get back with somebody like that. And the reason why I lost respect is, like, in real time, Shantae and True are still together. Like, someone online was like, he proposed to her or something, and it's just like, how you let somebody do you like, are you that desperate to be in a relationship or be loved by a man? Like, that's wild to me. So they arguing back and forth. Shantae's like, what did I do to you for you to treat me like this? Girl, you did nothing. Drive off. He can't chase after you. He gonna go back to jail. Like, why are you still talking to him? So Shantae is like, I'm done with True. Like, I can't believe he did me like this. At this point, like, I'm just done. I'm done. Like, I'm just gonna go back. Maybe True don't need to be in his kid's life. Like, maybe I can have a clean slate. So at the end, we find out that True no longer is on house arrest, and unfortunately, Shantae lost her kids. Now, a lot of people are saying that's mighty convenient, because a lot of people didn't think Shantae was truly pregnant. I thought she was pregnant based off the pictures I saw online, but hey, maybe she was lying. Maybe she was just bloated. I don't know. But unfortunately, if that truly did happen, I feel bad for her. Production actually asks True, did he cheat on Shantae? And he's like, yeah. And then they want him to like explain it, but he's like, I can't give y'all the recipe on my sauce. I said, yeah, because you're a bum and a loser. But that's how they end. About our final couple, Kim and Joey. Girl, Joey got his feelings hurt, and I was happy to see it. So y'all know he started an argument with Kim, especially once Kim found out that he has been talking to his ex for since he been out. So pretty much He's at the park waiting for his ex to come. While he's waiting, if you listen to Joey, it sounds like Joey has actually seen his ex in person. He just wanted her to come on camera, because he then is like, I know if she come this way, like she lived that way, so if she might come this way, or she could come this way. So how do you know which way she comes if you haven't seen her or met with her before? So it's given like y'all might have met with each other before this. So as he's waiting, he's getting like irritable because she's not there yet. So we see his text, like he been texting her back to back. One of the text messages that they blew up for us, it says, "I'm glad I got to see you and tell you what I needed." He said, "I'm glad I got to see you and tell you what I need to tell you. So you wanted to see me and I set up everything, but you can't even answer me and you're not coming." You wanted her to be there. Like he's talking all this trash about this girl, calling her to be where, saying that she cheating on her fiance or her boyfriend or whoever that she lives with. And yet this type of text message is giving me that like you're mad that she didn't come, and had she came, you would have cheated with her like on Kim, because you still are longing for her and you still feel some type of way that she broke up with you or that she ghosted you while you was in prison. Joey, you're trash. You're trash, bro. Trash. So Kim is at the house upset because she feels like she shouldn't have started an argument with him, and she's not willing to let Joey go because she invested all this time in it, and she shouldn't have started one. I said, girl, you had valid complaints, but Kim, you're trash too, because you're putting up with this, but yet you're going to complain to us about how like you're a mom of two and you only make $15 an hour and Joey's spending too much money. Girl. So Joey gets mad. He gets into the car and he's like, "I'm glad she didn't come because this just shows me that she just wanted to come in my life and mess it up." No, you wanted that lady to be there, and that the fact that she's not there, it bothers you because you wanted to see her again. Okay? Because honestly, like I said in my last review, like the opposite of love is indifference. Like hate is not the opposite. Like that's not the opposite. The opposite of love is indifference, because if you truly did not care about her, you wouldn't have any feelings towards her. You wouldn't be calling her to be where you wouldn't be attached to her. Like the fact that you hate her or you're showing this display of how much you hate her means you still got feelings for her, Joey, and you just mad you got played. So he pulls back up to the house, doesn't even apologize to Kim or anything. He's just like, "I'm tired of arguing over this bitch. Like, let's go. Let's have a good time. Let's move." And Kim is like, okay. But she knows something is up because Joey decides like, let's go in two separate cars. Because he's like, we got a bunch of stuff. They did not even have a bunch of stuff. He just didn't want to ride in the car with her. So they get to the event space. I said, "This is the event space that you said you spent $2,000 on?" "This right here, ma'am." Okay. And then the dress she had was a sweater dress that I know she probably got from Shein or Amazon. I was like, you was giving all of this, like, I spent this much money on a dress and on, girl, what? Okay. So they pull up to the event. Everyone's trying to figure out if Kim's cousin, I think her name is like Tammy, is coming or not. And they're all just kind of like, they don't know. So we end up seeing people start showing up to the event. We end up seeing Kim's cousins and stuff like that. We also see Joey's mom and his cousin. Kim ends up telling Joey's mom about how they got into a fight about so-and-so. And the mom is like, "Oh no, Kim, Joey loves you." No, the mom is trying to push Joey off on Kim because, girl, what? She was like, "Yeah, she loves you. He loves you, Kim. Like he would never. You then see Joey and his friends that we saw him at the rim shop. They came down and he's like, "Yeah, she got mad at me about the whole What's Up app. I showed her everything." And his friends is looking at him like she had a reason to be mad at you. So then we end up seeing Kim's cousin. I think her name, no, Tatum. Her name is Tatum. Tatum is, you can tell Tatum is uncomfortable. She's there with this girl named Ashley. I don't know if Ashley is Tatum's friend or the mutual cousin between Kim and Tatum, but Ashley is telling Tatum, "It's okay, just take a deep breath. We gonna be cool." So Tatum is uncomfortable. You can tell it in her face she's uncomfortable. She tells her that she needs to have a conversation with Kim about Joey because Joey did something she didn't like. So I guess while Ashley and Tatum were walking into the event, Joey whistled at her like the woo woo whistle. I can't whistle, okay? It made her uncomfortable, and she was just like, I don't think I can do this. I really don't think I can do this. I think, are you gonna be mad at me if I leave? And Kim is just like no, but like, is it that serious? Was it that deep? And so she gets up and leave. Kim is just like, this is my engagement party, girl, just sit down and like grin and bear it. But I'm like, girl, if she don't want to be there, she don't got to be there. But I'm also looking at Tatum like, girl, you knew Joey and her were going to be together. Why come to the engagement party if you knew you weren't going to be comfortable? So we see Ashley and Tatum outside, and Tatum is like, I hate him. Like, I do not like him. Like, I don't like him. And she was like, I feel like Kim has on her rose colored glasses when it comes to Joey. So then I guess everyone's like, why she leaving? And Kim is like, she told me that Joey whistled at her and that she couldn't deal with me and Joey being together. And everyone's just like, well, why come? One of the friends is like, she's just really worried about you. Like, I don't think it's anything about Joey. I think it's more about you. We then see Ashley do a confessional where Ashley is like, Tatum is very real. She don't got no reason to make up anything. And I heard the whistle and it was very uncomfortable. She was like, I can tell that Joey wants to be faithful, but is he going to be? I just don't know. I said, girl, he not. So it ends up ending with Joey end up saying like, maybe she was uncomfortable because I was her first for everything. Like, I took her virginity. I did all of this. And I'm like, no, Joey, she knows you're a scumbag. So, girl, what? And Kim is just Kim is so delusional and a loser because, girl, again with the whole like with Shantae, you have like red flags like flashing in your face showing you that this man does not care about you. Like, he left you. He spent like $2,000, over $2,000 on rims, knowing you don't have the money. He been talking to his ex-girlfriend that he still has feelings for. He didn't even apologize to you for like leaving the house and causing a scene. And you still want to marry him because you put all this time into him. Girl. So the last thing we have with Kim and Joey, says Joey is no longer in contact with his ex-girlfriend. That's what he told y'all, but we don't know if that's true. Joey and Kim are going to be on Life After Lockup. And I think that was the end, yeah. Oh, their story will continue on Life After Lockup. Yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all for this season of Love After Lockup. Thank you to everybody who has been watching since the beginning. And, I appreciate y'all. So, as always, remember to be bravely authentic and definitely hop down in them comments below and share your thoughts with me, you guys. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.